Did you have some questions for me?
Well,
I'm a little bit worried, afraid to ask that now, actually.
yeah, I would be, but I need you to focus with me. And one of the reasons for that is I know that during this time of COVID, we've all had to be explorers, and we've had to find ways to escape. But like the Mustang, I don't know if I can push you to the edge or not. Do you see any fostering connection between explorer, edge, Mustang, focus, escape?
Is this a French car company?
French car? No, no, it's not a French car company, but you're close.
Ford.
Ford. There
Ford.
we go.
Wow.
Mike Ford. We are so pleased to be able to have a phenomenal car in our lot, our own Mike Ford. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, guys. How are you both?
Never better, Mike. Great to see you.
Great. I guess they put Bailey's out with the coffee there this morning.
No comment. Let's keep moving. Mike, we're really excited to talk to you about leadership coaching and have a couple of minutes with you just to explore this concept, something that's been so powerful for so many leaders across the state of New York, for them themselves and throughout their districts. And you've been such a guiding force behind that, provided just incredible connection and support for the many colleagues you've worked with over the years, and spread this notion of supporting each other to many places. So can you tell us a little bit about what is leadership coaching? How would you describe that?
Leadership coaching is having a thought partner. It's someone that helps you think through the things you're dealing with on a daily basis. It's someone who's there for you, only for you. And there, one of our coaches, one of the people we coached, when he called me about 5 years ago and said, "I want to coach," I said, "Why?" He said, "I want to be better tomorrow than I am today." And I think for any of us that are committed to being the best we can be, we get coaches. I was having a great conversation with Jazz the other day, just out of the blue. And of course, she deals with us when we get in trouble and has to negotiate buyouts and like. And in my 8 years of coaching, I have never once had a superintendent who had to be bought out, someone who failed, didn't get a contract renewal. And I'm not saying it's because of me, certainly not because of me, it's because of them. It's because of their ability to reflect and their willingness to leave ego at the door, be vulnerable, as you asked Lauren to be when she refused. But it's an opportunity to really look in the mirror, see what others are seeing. And I think that's what a coach can give you. And so we're really excited about this, the work that we're doing in the state and being able to take this statewide. And we've had a phenomenal first year and looking forward to even better second year.
So, Mike, kind of segueing, what might or who might you identify as being a very good candidate for coaching?
Again, anybody that wants to be better. So some people tend to think you get a coach when you're in trouble. But when you think about it, Serena Williams, LeBron James, Josh Groban's got a voice coach. The best in the world are coached. Most CEOs of the Fortune 500s have a coach. Bill Gates had a coach. Eric Schmidt had a coach at Google. The best of the best get coached. So we coach veteran people. We had a 16-year veteran superintendent call and say, "I'd like a coach. I got more time left in this. I want to be better as I go." And we coach folks that are new. We coach teams. We coach individuals. Coaching for anyone that's committed to being better. And what we know about the research is when we go to workshops, you're probably like me. I've got shelves full of binders. But what gets implemented out of those binders is very little. And what we know is when people go to workshops, less than 5% of what they learn in a workshop gets implemented. But in coaching, research has shown for over 30 years, about 90+% of what we learn in coaching gets into our repertoire and changes our behavior.
That's a great point, Mike. I think about any number of conversations I've had with you over the years as a friend and colleague, or many of the people in this room, the staff members and my colleague superintendents. I think about the award that Neil just accepted, and the many conversations we've had at events, and all of the times we've sat through professional development side by side that has had its value and its place from a theoretical perspective. But the things that I've actually brought back and done differently and thought differently probably came much more from the conversations that I had from frankly, the informal coaching of being with colleagues and friends and getting to know people over the years. So can you tell us, more directly about what exactly, if you participate in this program, can you expect if you have a coach?
Well, you're going to have if you're a superintendent, you're going to have a twice a month coaching session with the coach that's working with you, be at your schedule, your convenience. You'll own the agenda. We typically will come in and we'll say, what's the mountain you got to climb today? What's next up for you? How can I help you? You can expect us to ask lots of questions rather than telling you what to do. Mentors tend to tell you what to do. Coaches tend to guide you to what you believe and how you want to accomplish it. But you'll have that one-on-one time, and you'll own it. Now, if you don't come to a session with a whole lot on your list of things you want to talk about, I promise you, your coach will guide you through some reflective questions that'll cause you to get there. But it'll be a 24/7 relationship. I've talked to 3 folks that I coach already today that have reached out just with quick questions and want some guidance as the week begins. And our sessions aren't until later in the week or next week. But you'll have that connection with someone that will be there for you and be able to guide you. And you'll see, it'll be reflective. We'll be that mirror that holds you accountable. It's sort of like, for those of us that say we want to lose weight, that scale becomes our accountability partner every morning, right? And so your coach will be your accountability partner, helping you move forward the things that you want to move forward to. Don't keep falling off your to-do list.
Great point.
That makes very good sense. Mike and I was thinking just about the relationship with COVID, and we've actually been forced into a virtual environment. And I know right now that I've had more connections and conversations with, say, Laura Fahu or Rebecca Stone or Roseanne Bain that I ever would have had if we'd had to meet in person, just because of our distance across the state. So thank you for sharing that and bringing that up. Another question is, how do you see coaching as not only benefiting the individual, but beneficial to the organization?
Well, we all know that leadership matters, right? You look at Fullen's research and others' research, and you find that the greatest indicator of whether a kid will be a learner this year or not is the quality of the teacher in the room. Second greatest influence is the quality of the leader in the school. And so when we know that leadership matters, and yet we tend to hire our 6-figure leaders with almost little or no support. And so if we want effective schools, and you go even back to the 1980s, the effective schools research that still continues on, it was strong leadership. It was one of the 7 correlates of an effective school. And so what we're able to do is help schools have effective leaders. And I think that's something you can't put a dollar on. When you buy your Xerox copier, very interestingly, we all buy the maintenance agreement. So you buy an $80,000 copier, you buy a $6,000 maintenance agreement. You hire a $100,000 administrator. What's your maintenance agreement? We think coaching's your maintenance agreement. And we think it's a way for you to do it in a cost-effective way. The charge for coaching is very, very reasonable and BOCES-able. And so I think through NSCUS, it's a win-win, helps develop your people, helps them be stronger, helps your organization win. We'll focus on your student outcomes, maybe help you see things that you're not looking at in leadership. Leadership, as many of us know, it's getting on that bike and just pedaling and pedaling and pedaling and pedaling. And we're just trying to not fall off the bike. And somehow, what coaching can do is help you keep your Google map in front of you about where it is you want to be. So I think, coaching is obviously a great benefit to any organization because you grow your people. And the old saying, the only thing worse than developing your people and having them leave is not developing them, having them stay. And so, and we look at our administrators who tend to be in our organizations a long time, wouldn't we want them to be the best? So that's what coaching is there for you. So if anyone's interested, all they need to do is email me. Email address is easy, mike@niscus.org, and we'd love to help you out either for this year or next year.
Mike, a couple of thoughts I just want to expand on a little bit. You mentioned the idea that, if you don't come to the table with a whole lot, don't worry, our coaches would, prompt you and help guide that kind of conversation. I think one thing that people hesitate with around coaching historically, not when you've been involved with it, frankly, and a compliment to you, is the idea that it's another burden or a homework assignment, or while they're so busy and their life is so crazy and they've got all these things going on, now I've got to meet with this person, et cetera. You have created a system that doesn't ever, in my estimation, from what I've gathered from those participating, ever feel like that or seem like that. Can you comment on that notion of it being just one more thing to have to do?
Yeah, our coaching model is not out of a workbook, so we're not sending folks off with a whole bunch to do in between sessions. You own your session, and we're really there for you. It's interesting, Kev. I've been doing this now for 8 years. I've been serving as a leadership coach to people across the state. I can probably count on 10 fingers the number of cancellations I've ever had. People just don't cancel. And they don't cancel because they value the sessions. They look forward to it. I've been coaching one superintendent for 7 years now. He has never canceled a session in 7 years. He told me last year this will be the last budget cut he'll ever make. He'll cut everything else in the district before he cuts his coach. And it's just I think it's just one of those things. The value is just high because we're not working you through a model. You determine your ends. We don't. So it's not a scripted program. It's not a scripted staff development program as such. As it's literally I don't know when I walk in your office what we're going to talk about that day. You're going to tell me what we're going to talk about. I mean, I'll have questions to prompt you if you say, hey, I've been bored of eating bonbons for 2 weeks because I'm superintendent of Brighton and I can do that. I've got 23 assistants. But unlike Lauren, who works for a living. And so, I'd look at you and say, well, Kevin, what's the next bonbon you're struggling to eat? And we would talk our way through that.
It's sometimes a burden to pick which one, Mike. So thank you for illustrating the value of coaching to all superintendents in all types of places. But I want to push that thinking just a little bit more and ask you another question about this. So in other words, part of this also is the fact that we're in very isolating positions, right? We're as close as our teams might be, as high quality as they may be, as many colleagues around us that we may be able to count on. Ultimately, you're very alone sometimes, and this provides, in a sense, a phone a friend opportunity too. And not to downplay the incredible impact intellectually that it is, or the theoretical framework around it, but at the end of the day, it's a human connection that you can count on, that you can trust, that can be there for you.
Absolutely, and beyond that, our coaches are all well connected. So, I've been coaching a director of curriculum in a district who's been struggling a little bit. She's fairly young and experienced, perhaps a little naive. And as she's been having difficulty finding her way, so I'm a connection for her, but then I've been able to connect her to other networks of other folks that do what she does, which she had no idea that those people were out there and would be so gracious about opening their arms to her. And so I think that's the other thing, is our coaches are connectors for people. And, we've got great coaches across the state, and 2 of them are on the screen with me right now. And we're just grateful for all those folks that help us do this work. But they're all so well connected that they're able to help our people feel less lonely in a job that can be very lonely on a daily basis.
And Mike, if I could interject right there, I did not realize the personal gain that I was going to get being a coach. And in fact, with both of the people with whom I work, I've often said, I think Mike has this set up backwards. I really think you should be coaching me. Just wonderful conversations that really hone in to very specific areas. The opportunity to think and refine and reflect, and then to bounce it off. So I would have to say that the reciprocity involved in coaching was not something that I understood ahead of time, but certainly feel a major benefit from. So thank you.
Yeah, it's heart filling.
I couldn't agree more. We've got decades between us in this work, and yet I find from the people that I've had the opportunity to work with and coach, I learn as much from them as I think they do for me. It's such a thought-provoking discussion, great dialogue. So, Mike, one last question about this. If you were to give people tips as such an experienced expert coach on their own coaching within their district, to give them a sense of the types of things that you demonstrate as a coach, what makes a good coach?
Someone who realizes that God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Listen more than you talk. Help people be heard, help them feel valued. That's the other piece. I say almost every day to somebody, leaders' greatest job is to cause the people that work in your organization to fall in love with your organization. Because when we love something, we'll do anything for it. It's helping leaders understand that that's the role of leadership. We become superintendents, and we don't become superintendents because we have a lack of ego, right? So we all have some ego. But when we get to the superintendency, what we come to realize is, I don't do the work of the system. The work of the system is done in classrooms by teachers. The work of the system isn't done by leaders. Without them, they don't need me. And so it's my job to honor them, to give them grace, to give them opportunities to grow, it's to value people, and to recognize that all that I do as a leader influences everyone's willingness to do all that, right? So what a leader does is cause others to give more, be more, and do more. That's what we do as leaders. And when we lose sight of that, then we lose our leadership opportunities. And so what coaching does is it helps bring you back to the core, helps you recognize what's important, why do we lead, and then hopefully help you be successful in that way.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Can you tell us one more time how to get a hold of you regarding coaching?
Yeah, real easy, just mike@niscus.org, and I promise I'll get right back to you.
Really appreciate it. Appreciate you joining us today to tell us more about this, but more than anything, leading this effort across the state, helping all of us connect with each other, helping all of us get better, and ultimately helping our students have a better experience. So thank you for your leadership and being the coach of coaches. It's pretty impressive work and much appreciated.
Thanks so much, Kevin. Thanks, Lauren.